What is up, everyone? Jay here with another Fire Emblem Heroes video, and today I'm going to be talking about Brave Marth's upcoming weapon refine and some of my hopes and expectations for it. So yeah, I'm very excited. As you guys might know, I am a Brave Marth user. I have him at plus 10. I plus 10 him on release. I have every single Marth at plus 10, and I use him in pretty much every mode. So I am very excited for this refine, but at the same time, I'm also scared because they could make it underwhelming, especially the fact that he's a second place winner. And historically in Fae, for the Choose Your Legends refines that we've gotten so far, the second place winners don't usually get the best refine. If you look at CYL 1, except for maybe CYL 1, because, well, on the female side, Brave Lynn won, but her refine was kind of tame because she was the best unit at the time. Gear's refine is not that good. But then you look at Brave Ike, who had a really good refine for like 1 or 2 years. And then CYL 2, you had Brave Hector, obviously, and he's still really good. CYL 3, you had Alm, who was the first place winner, and he has one of the best refines, or had one of the best refines. I still think Draco Falchion is good. But yeah, he has a really good refine. And CYL 4, you look at Brave Dimitri, who's one of the best tanks in the game. So Brave Marth doesn't have that luxury, I guess, of being the first place winner because Gatekeeper is. But even despite that, I'm hoping that he still gets a really good refine because he definitely needs it to keep up with the meta and some of the other sorties that have kind of surpassed him, because this year we've got insane sword infantry units like Summer Fiorm, Diamant especially. Not even from this year, like I think Lucia dropped last year, was it? I don't remember when Lucia dropped, but she's still really good. And obviously Brave Robin, and then some of the refines we've gotten for like Merida and Violet as well. So the competition for sword infantry is endless. As you guys might know, it's pretty much the most competitive class type in the game. And at one point, I think Brave Marth was a top 5 sword infantry, but now not so much anymore because he definitely needs some more things. And that's why I'm glad this refine is happening. It's just I'm kind of scared it's going to be kind of underwhelming, but we got to be positive. So hopefully I don't look like a clown asking for these effects I'm going to go into. But yeah, let's go into it. So Genesis Falchion, great weapon. A lot of people did sleep on him when he came out because they figured he was just another sortie, but then they realized this guy's really good advantage sweeping, and that's Brave Marth's thing, right? Or Marth's thing, should I say? Or actually, Marth and Sheeta's thing. That's a husband and wife thing. They're both the king and queen of vantage. So Genesis Falchion, -1 cooldown, effectiveness against dragons, +5 to all your stats, and effects based on the bonuses on 3 allies with the highest bonus totals. So it's based on obviously your allies. So it's in character for Marth, and some things I'd like to see improved are the no follow-up part, which is, so he has to have greater than or equal to 10 buffs on his allies for no follow-up to happen. And that's not too hard because Shining Emblem, as long as you're within range, you can get that effect. But I like to see just the buff of it removed. Like, just give him full no follow-up at all times. Like, don't even give him a buff. If you're going to change the other ones, like the greater than or equal to 60 for Vantage, if you can lower that a little bit, because some people would like to get Vantage easier, even though I still think it's not that hard to get Vantage. You just have to trigger Shining Emblem once. And as long as there's no Panic Manner or Panic Smoke, you should be able to trigger everything in Marth's weapon. But obviously, if they're going to improve this weapon refine, they may just lower the buff requirements. So I think they should just remove the greater than or equal to the 10 buffs for the no follow-up. Just give him full no follow-up. And another effect I'd like to see is higher HP healing, because he has 5 HP healing, which is good, but most weapon refines these days have at least 7 HP healing, and Diamant has like 10 HP healing, which is crazy. That's basically like 1/4 of your health, or 1/5 depending on what unit you are. Yeah, generally speaking, units in Fae have like 40 to 50 HP, at least, like tanks. So 10 HP healing would be really good. I'm not even asking for 10, just give him 7 HP healing, because at the time they gave him 5 HP healing to offset the distant pressure recoil that's in his base kit. But some more HP healing would be nice because he obviously is a tank. And then obviously extra stats, so maybe +4, +5 extra stats. And then the one thing that I like to see that would make him very unique, and this might be just a pipe dream, it may not happen, but speed-based true damage reduction would be amazing on Brave Marth. Now, there's only pretty much 2 sources of true damage reduction right now in the game. We have it on Asker, Diamant, and we have it on, well, a couple units, should I say. It's on Har as well, it's on Cormag. The defense-based true damage, right? That is impierceable by Deadeye lethality. So that'd be amazing because that would make Brave Marth unique, because there isn't any speed-based true damage reduction. Like I said, there is defense-based, but there is no speed-based one. There's also res-based on Guinevere. Legendary Guinevere, but there isn't any speed-based true damage reduction. Now, again, this could just be a pipe dream. I don't think they're actually going to do it, but if they do it, that'd be amazing. So maybe like 15% of his speed is added to the damage reduction for that true damage reduction. So that would be really, really good. And it would make him unique, because some of the other effects I'm going to go over, they're already on other Sword Infantry. So it's kind of redundant. I mean, yes, it would still be good, of course, but having this kind of true damage reduction would be amazing for Brave Marth, because it would make him unique. And it's something that I kind of wanted for Winter Marth when I was talking about what I wanted to see on his Refine. But they ended up giving him just, you know, the Desperation, reverse Desperation Vantage on his Refine, which is obviously great. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just... at that time, I was expecting him to be a tank, because I wasn't thinking of giving him Vantage. I guess I should have expected it at the time, but that was something I kind of hoped for on Winter Marth, because he doesn't have the greatest bulk, and Brave Marth can definitely tank hits a little bit better than Winter Marth. So yeah, that's something I like to see. Speed-based true damage reduction would be amazing, but I don't think it's likely. Another effect I'd like to see is damage reduction piercing, and this is the effect that most people want to see, because he is a Vantage sweeper, right? When you run distant pressure, so, or distant counter, or distant dart, or whatever distant counter skill you have. But damage reduction piercing would really help him, because units have gotten stronger, the power creep is insane. We have skills like Remote Sparrow, and pretty much any kind of premier unit these days, premium unit these days, has some kind of damage reduction, or, you know, really, really high bulk. So Brave Marth can struggle against those units. So having damage reduction piercing would be great, but it's on a lot of Sword Infantry units at this point. It's on Flavia, it's on Diamant, it's on Merida, it's on Byleth, and while it would be good, I'm not complaining. I kind of want to see it. It's still kind of redundant, because so many sorties have it at this point. So maybe even like they could even give him like physical no follow-up. That'd be kind of cool to at least have it. Just give him the, you know, the no follow-up he has in his weapon. Just give him physical no follow-up. That'd be kind of cool. If you're not going to give him full damage reduction piercing, that would still be really good and help with the Vantage sweeping. So that's the thing to consider as well. Another thing I like to see is unity or penalty neutralization. Well, actually, I should rephrase that. I don't know if I want to see unity. The reason I don't want to see it is because it would take away from his legendary version, because his legendary version does have the unity, obviously, and he was one of the first units in the game that could do double unity, triple unity at this point, because of freaking legendary Robin. But yeah, if they do give Brave Marth unity, which would definitely address some of his issues with debuffs, that'd be great, but it would take away from his legendary version. And his legendary version, yes, would still have Binding Shield 2, and he would still have bonus doubler, but at this point, Brave Marth is overall the best Marth, or at least out of the Sword Infantry Marth. He's better than legendary Marth in my opinion in most scenarios. Well, I guess it depends. Legendary Marth is still really, really good, but right now, Brave Marth I think is overall better, because he's a little bit more versatile than legendary Marth, because he can Vantage sweep and Omni tank better. But yeah, unity would be great, but it would take away from his legendary version, which I'd be kind of sad about, but at the same time I wouldn't complain, because Brave Marth does have issues with debuff sometimes, because he is a stat ball. And then of course penalty neutralization, that's another thing too, because yes, that'd be good, but then you can't work with you wouldn't work with legendary Robin, who's just ridiculous. So that would be kind of a bummer, but it would still help. Those two effects would help, because again, he is a stat ball. And then maybe another effect I like to see is stronger Vantage. So like when he triggers Vantage, you know, once his teammates have all the buffs, maybe he can get true damage. That'd be cool. Or maybe like really, really strong attack or extra attack. Obviously he does get extra +5 attack, so he basically has +10 attack if he does meet the conditions, but maybe even more attack or some kind of other effect that make the Vantage stronger, because, you know, he is a Vantage sweeper. And you know, when Fallen Female Battle came out, you can argue she's better Vantage sweeper than him, because hers doesn't have to rely on people's buffs, but at the same time he doesn't have to rely on his speed, right? So there isn't any kind of worry about speed creep when it comes to triggering Vantage. He just has to trigger the buffs on his teammates, and Shining Emblem does that perfectly. So yeah, those are just some of the ideas that I think would be great on Genesis Falchion. There are probably some other ones that I'm not thinking of right now that would be really, really good. I went on Twitter and I asked my followers, you know, what kind of effects would you like to see on Brave Marth's Weapon Refine, and they brought up some ideas that I didn't even consider. The most notable one being Desperation, or a dual phase Desperation, or at least an enemy phase Desperation. And that would be crazy, because that's a really good effect, and it's on his Winter version, which they gave to him for his Refine. And Tangrister is amazing Weapon Refine. It's really never let me down. It's so fun to use, and if Brave Marth got that, that would be pretty crazy. I don't think it's likely, I could be wrong. I'd be pleasantly surprised if that's the case, but if they can give him some kind of desperation effect, just like his winter version has, that would be insane. But the reason I don't think it's likely is because they already gave it to his winter version. So yeah, I don't know how likely that is, but that would be amazing for Brave Marth, because you would have two, especially if you pair them together like me, because they're really good teammates together, Brave Marth and Winter Marth. You have, for me these days, I don't really use him for Vantage as much when it comes to Omni tanking, like with this encounter, as much as I used to, because I have Winter Marth to cover the far save or the range matchups. So usually I like to use him is obviously Brave Marth as the melee frontliner, and then Winter Marth to cover the range units, right? So if you have both of those together and they both had desperation effects, that'd be pretty crazy, because people would have to be careful about initiating against them, because they can just kill them before they can do anything, right? So if Brave Marth can do that, that'd be pretty crazy, but like I said, I don't know how likely that'd be. Another effect that people did bring up when I asked on Twitter was Null Panic. That's another obvious one, because he does struggle against, you know, Panic Manners and Panic Smoke that can definitely derail his strategy and his weapon, because he does rely on the buffs for his allies, and if their buffs are being messed up, then obviously that's not going to work. So something to deal with Panic would be nice. Null Panic would be definitely the safest way to go, and definitely address one of his core issues. I think that's more likely than some of the other things I suggested, like speed-based true damage reduction, but we'll see. Another thing I like to see is, maybe this is another maybe pipe dream, but something to counter lull skills. Now this is something I kind of thought of before, back when Legendary Marth was getting his weapon refined. I was thinking maybe something to negate lull skills, because Legendary Marth does rely on bonus doubler to really, you know, delete units. So if he had something to negate lull skills, that'd be pretty crazy. But now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe that'd be a little too broken, because yes, Brave Marth also does rely on his buffs, because obviously if you are buffed up and someone has a lull skill, that is going to weaken you. So in Brave Marth's case, if he had something to counter lull skills, like to lull the lull skills, that would be pretty crazy. But I don't think that's likely at all. That's probably even less likely than the desperation part. But that's just a bit of a pipe dream. But that would be really good, because there's really nobody that does that in the game, that really stops, I guess, counters the counter to buffs, right? If that makes sense. But again, I'm just trying to think of unique things for Brave Marth, because there are so many sword inventories with so many good effects that have been repeated, like damage reduction piercing, that I kind of want something really unique for Brave Marth for his refine. So let me see if there's anything else that I forgot about that people suggested on Twitter. Oh, I guess Null Sea Disrupt, that would be kind of cool, because he can counter attack against everything. If they give him that, then I'd be glad I didn't give him Null Sea Disrupt 4 yet. But yeah, Desperation would be really good, because it would be inspired from his winter version. But again, I don't know if they would give that to a melee unit. Would they? That'd be pretty crazy if they give it to him. But either way, I just hope that the Vantage is better, you know, and damage reduction piercing would probably be, I'd say that's probably the thing he struggles with the most, I guess, with Vantage sweeping these days, is, you know, bulkier units, and if you can pierce through that, that'd be amazing. And I suppose the Null Panic. But overall, I really haven't had, with my time using Brave Marth since he came out, I haven't had as much trouble with like panic stuff as much, because like I said, I think it's overall pretty easy to get Vantage if the buffs are greater than 60 or equal to 60. But if they could make those conditions easier, that would be great. So just to recap some of the ideas that I suggested, and also some people on Twitter suggested: extra HP healing, extra stats obviously, speed-based true damage reduction and piercing, unity or penalty neutralization, stronger Vantage effects like true damage, I guess, physical no follow-up, dual phase desperation or some kind of desperation effect, and Null Panic, and also something to counter lull skills, like countering lull skills, or countering the counter, I guess, to buffs. But some of those are definitely, like I mentioned, are kind of a pipe dream, but just throwing ideas out there. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Those are just some of my ideas and expectations for this refine. I hope I don't look back at this video and, you know, regret what I said, because like I said, this refine could be underwhelming, but it could also be really, really good. So obviously when the refine drops, I will be making a video talking about it and some of my first impressions on it. And who knows, maybe when the refine comes out, I'll be disappointed, but then, or not disappointed, but I'll be kind of like, it's not the greatest, but then it turns out to be really, really good, because that's how I was with Winter Marth refine. When it first came out, I was like, it's nothing crazy, but then when I started to use it more in practice, I was like, this is actually an insane weapon refine. So again, it's just first impressions, right? So I guess your opinions can change, obviously, and my opinions change all the time in this game. So when the refine comes out, I'll definitely make a video for it, and if it's really good, you know, I will make a showcase for it as well and test it out. But yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Let me know what you guys think or what you want to see on Brave Marth's Weapon Refine when it does drop in a couple of days as of me making this video. So hope you enjoyed, guys. Leave a like if you did. Please stay safe out there. Peace out.